good at design. We're designing animals. So if it doesn't seem to me to be crazy to imagine parents all over the world playing college and postal science and short plays and favorite and all things. Get rid of classes and crystal lines and have kind of everything. We start out if you can be very, very gene specific and you learn more and more about genes over time, why couldn't you do games in the future? Why couldn't you make a paper finding you like one day it's last game not to do that?
There's no way to create black. You know, best you can hope for right now is a little bit of that, and that's down where the real action is the
Now there's a lot. I don't think the only problem is that we can make that maybe 20 years from now. That's what you're looking at. The fact that we
I think the thing is that
that's the real problem.
yeah, because you can't make them really things just because it's sort of evolutionary variant.
Well, there's no reason for now to fall except for the general method.
I'm just looking at, okay, I don't think that the federal Department of Homeland and Homeland Security would, I think we're okay there. What we do need is like, we need to like figure out what we're going to do about CRISPR treatments. They're going to be using CRISPR for cancer. They're going to take the human cell out of the body and use CRISPR to basically allow them to hopefully be able to grab onto cancer cells and attack their own cancer. Yeah,
We have
that's.
to be for that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, are you for it? Well, I think that is. You want to keep doing something going on. You want to alter your own cells.
It's just like any other this is, I don't think it's a religious thought, but just a thought of a conservative person thought. You know, I grew up in a Western baby beautiful adult Western babies. I remember being astonished that, you know, they don't tell you where the sick disease in that particular trip. And guess what I'm instead on? I've done a Hobbesian view of human beings, that there is something about human beings, including scientists, all human, there's a darkness and a light. There's an angelic side to being human, and there's a very, very difficult side. And as the human beings get more and more power to create and design and essentially create a future, that future will include the imaginations, both light and dark, of humans. And that will be new in the world.
I don't think it is new, because if you go back to the start of the scientific revolution, someone like Francis Bacon would say explicitly, like, science is going to be both about learning about how the world works and using that knowledge to control it. You know, this has been discovered. This has been published. Everybody knows it exists. If you're going to say, like, okay, now we're going to outlaw this.
I'm not suggesting that.
Well, what are you suggesting then?
I think we should cringe a little as if to just have a big party.
All right, let's all cringe. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Don't make fun of it. No, that's not
now
fair.
What have we cringed? Now what? What do we do now?
I don't know.
Well, we all cringed. If that's what you're arguing.
No,
for.
you
We
cringed.
cringed too.
You cringed really and you cringe with attitude.
No,
I'm
but
cringing with.
I would like
Because
to know.
you're afraid of, like, dragons. You're saying, oh my God.
Yes, I'm afraid of dragons.
Okay, so that conversation with Carl was 4 months ago, and a lot has happened in that time. Because to the question that you asked, like, where does the sacred begin and end? Well, one of the lines that had been drawn by Jennifer Doudna and others was that we should not use this technology on humans who haven't been born yet, meaning not on sperm cells or egg cells, because if you CRISPR, say, an embryo,
That is a permanent change, right? That is a change to the DNA that will be passed on to their children.
and their children's children, and their children's children's children,
And you can't ask the person if that's okay, because you're doing it before they're born.
consent becomes a real issue. And if you imagine making these changes and they cascade cascade through generation after generation.
You could affect the evolution of organisms. And it's, I don't want to say trivial, but it's, it's fairly easy to do it. It's kind of profound. I feel it's really profound.
Profound, but it was just an idea. That is, until
For the first time in history, researchers in China have successfully edited the human genome in an embryo.
just 2 months ago, it was announced that a Chinese team
From Sun Yat-sen University used a technique called CRISPR
To edit DNA in human embryos. It's a way of hacking evolution itself.
Well, this is hugely controversial.
Now, these embryos that the Chinese team had edited, they were created through IVF and they were not viable.
These are embryos that are not going to actually develop into a person, so they're going to be discarded anyway.
But still, if they could figure it out with those embryos, what's to stop any of us from going further?
Biologists and bioethicists are sounding an alarm.
The scientists face accusations that they crossed an ethical line.
That this sort of thing could be sort of a slippery slope towards
toward designer babies.
essentially genetically engineering the human race.
Use it
Sure.
as a chance to kind of test your levels.
Okay.
Now that the cringe party had spread and Robert didn't seem like such a loon, we called up Carl again.
Well, we have to revisit. We have to revisit because in our Armageddon conversation, in which I believe I was extremely alarmist and you were extremely down-putting,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I should do a small little parade called the. Not
What do you
remember
got?
the Alamo. It's like remember China. And you have to, so you should just begin anytime you want, like getting on your knees and saying how sorry you are, and we can start from there.
I'm sorry, so are we actually surrounded by an army of clones with superpowers?
Not yet. Not yet, but I think the dike has been open. I believe I'm going to quote somebody who said maybe a few weeks ago, I think he wrote, maybe it was last week even, writing for National Geographic. I think it was. Maybe it was somebody named Carl who said that the news from China, and that news is probably the beginning of an entire new era.
I think I actually said it was a historical moment.
That's right, yes.
Yes, and I still stand by that.
Do you feel differently now than the first time we talked?
I don't feel different, actually, because there's really no scientific surprise here.
He says people have been doing all these different experiments on all these different mammals.
We're mammals.
This is bound. And in fact, it may be happening more than we think. One account in the journal Nature said that 4 other Chinese labs are doing this kind of work as we speak. But Carl also told us, which he said was unsurprising too, but I actually find it not surprising, that the CRISPR work this Chinese team didn't work very well.
It works, kind of. I mean, in only a few of the cases did they really get exactly what they wanted.
They tried using CRISPR in about 86 embryos, and they only got it to work right in maybe 28. And in a lot of them, CRISPR's made the wrong cuts and screwed up the cells.
And that led them to conclude that this is a technology that's not ready right now for application in the human germline. And I agree.
Oh,
We still are in this kind of fortunate position where we can say, oh, well, it's dangerous, so we shouldn't use it on human embryos. I just don't think that we're going to be able to sort of find refuge there in like 10 or 20 years. In 10 or 20 years, CRISPR will be so sophisticated that people will be able to say, I can get you the change you want, and I can do it safely. I can guarantee you that you will have human embryos that have the alteration in a particular gene you want. So then what?
in fact, Jennifer Doudna told us that this experiment, or similar experiments, have been repeated in mice with more advanced CRISPR systems, because apparently there are many different kinds, and there it was done with almost no errors.
Sometimes I feel like we're sort of displacing all our ethical concerns onto something that hasn't happened yet. If we really are concerned about what we're doing to the human gene pool, it's already here.
Take, as an example, in vitro fertilization. About 60,000 kids are born a year through IVF, and it's probable that some of those parents chose whether they wanted a boy or a girl.
And when people started doing IVF, there was a huge controversy. People said this was dangerous, this is unnatural. I don't see people who are unable to sleep at night because of the existence of IVF. Now I'm going to sound like I'm on Robert's side of this. I mean, okay, so
It won't hurt. It won't.
Okay, all right. Here we go. So
Deep breath.
So you guys know about all the stuff going on in Iceland where they're looking at people's DNA and they're looking for disease genes and so on. And when they were looking at these Icelandic people, they found that some people had a gene that protects them against Alzheimer's. It reduces their odds of getting Alzheimer's. Let's imagine your doctor said, now, if you'd like, for an extra $1,000, we will take these IVF embryos and we will use CRISPR to give them the Alzheimer protecting variant. Would you like that? Do you want to add that to your procedure?
Sure.
Or would you like your child to face a future of Alzheimer's? Your choice.
See, here's my thing. Here's my thing with this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit haunted by the thing you said, which is that when it's not dangerous anymore, what will we do? And I'm afraid we've already answered that question. That it's not a question that's open anymore. Because if we're already doing this kind of stuff, then who's going to say no to that? Who's going to say no to that?
That's what he just was demonstrating.
Yeah.
We've already answered the question.
Yeah. We may have.
We just want to mention, since we first aired these two stories, there have been a couple, actually some very fascinating developments. Not only in Sarah Gray's world, her baby, but in the world of CRISPR, things are moving very, very fast and somewhat frighteningly so. So if we've gotten your attention with this broadcast and you want an update, you can go to radiolab.org. That's our website. And there you will find, prominently posted, easy to see, easy to find, the rest of the story. So if you want to, just go over there and check it out.
Many thanks to science writer Carl Zimmer, who's written many books. You can check him out at carlzimmer.com or at radiolab.org. This piece was produced by Molly Webster. We had original music this hour by Eric Kowalski, otherwise known as Casino vs. Japan.
Special thanks to Anna Rasquet-Paz,
Lee McGuire,
Dr. Blake Wiedenham,
Dr. Luciano Marfini,
Dr. John Burgess,
and Dr. Junwei Shi. I'm Jad Abumrad.
I'm Robert Krulwich.
Thanks for listening.
WNYC supporters include Glen Mead, an independent trust company providing investment and private wealth management services to individuals, families, endowments, and institutions. More from Lee Miller at 212-328-7331.
It's coming up on 1 o'clock. This is WNYC. Snap Judgment is next on 93.9 FM. It's an hour of economics and innovation on AM 820 with Planet Money and How I Built This. 47 degrees right now, on our way to 52. Lots of sunshine as WNYC works to keep you up to date on the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak. Governor Cuomo spoke just about an hour and a little bit ago, and we'll have that in news headlines coming up in a few minutes. It's 1 o'clock.
This is WNYC, FM, HD, and AM, New York.
When you see one of the great apes, the chimpanzee, a gorilla, an orangutan, when you see them laugh, when you see them grieve, when you see them desperately try to protect their young from us, you can't help but wonder, what side of the glass should we be on? Today in Snap Judgment, we're devoting the entire hour to just one story. From the WNYC Studios and Snap Judgment's underground lair, we proudly present Zoo, Nebraska. We're going to walk into a world that will stay with you for a very long time, right after this short break, I promise. Snap Judgment. Stay tuned.